come on late, that's fine. We'll get started. Can everyone hear me all right? Okay. Bear with me. David, our chairman, was unable to attend today, so he had called and asked if I would just chair in his place for today. So we'll get the meeting started. I sent out the meeting minutes from last month's meeting, and did anyone have any questions on them? They're good to go. I know that's kind of, we don't really need to do this, but so we'll go ahead with the meeting minutes from last week and get right to the meeting. So I wanted to just bring up real quickly that John Bradley had shared something in regards to the solar farm in Stottville Road and Clogrick at last month's meeting. And I just wanted to give a quick update about what was said and what came of that. So the issue that was brought up was about, I guess he was talking about the berm and some Clogrick residents having issues. I was advised that the town of Clogrick and Nexamp are working very well together. Nexamp is following the lead of the town of Clogrick. They're doing everything that they need to do. And I've been advised that the working relationship between Nexamp and the town of Clogrick have been very good, and that the issues that were brought up by county residents are being addressed and will be taken care of. So does anyone have any questions? No? Okay. So we'll just go right to the solar campaign update then. Nexamp did sign their MOU. They are now on their link is on our webpage. You can find that link right on the homepage under announcements, and it will take you right to the solar campaign page. So it's still not super easy to find, but it's a little bit easier to navigate now. Both Neighborhood Sons and Nexamp are live. Cara is going to be in at 11 to give a brief update on what Neighborhood Sons has been doing, but I do want to let you know that she supplied us with the 25 subscribers that we needed. I submitted that application to NYSERDA on the 15th of last month, and it was approved. So the campaign was approved, and you can see those points on our scorecard with NYSERDA. I spoke with Tara, our representative, and she had thought that we might have been a month too late for that and missed out on the grant. They haven't done any grant updates in about a month or so, but she's pretty certain that we probably, unfortunately, missed out on that grant for the large municipalities, but there are those grants still available for the townships. Okay. And I've been working with Nexamp. The county attorney has approved a mailer that Nexamp wants to send out. The towns that are piggybacking with the county for this campaign, those mailers will kind of be dispersed to those towns more heavily, but they are going to send mailers out countywide. And they will be planning on a webinar at some point, hopefully within somewhere between the 20th and 27th of June. They'd like to do a webinar that once the mailer is approved and signed by our chairman, we'll be able to kind of confirm that date, and I can put that information out if you want to share the webinar information with your residents that would like to learn more about Nexamp and what they're doing. I'll have that information for you, but the webinar information will also be on the mailers that they're mailing out. Okay. And then Cara will give us an update on hers. And then if no one has any questions about that, I know, the press release. I did send out a press release announcing the official campaign, the campaign, and that should be in the paper now or will be by the end of this week. So it's official. We're moving forward with that. And I know that Cara will bring up needs that Neighborhood Sons will have when she's on at 11. And Jolene, or Tistria, I don't know if Tistria is here. If you guys want to talk about the Climate Carnival real quick, unless anyone has questions about the solar campaign. I know.
Wendy, I had a question. It's Steve Howard.
Oh, hey, Steve.
So have the legalities been worked out at the county level regarding the split with the towns for the incentive?
Right. So they have the 5 towns that are piggybacking through Nexamt will have their incentives given to them. Yes.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yep. Anyone else? I know I'm kind of racing through, but I've got some really cool updates that I want to give you all. So,
Wendy, the webinar that you speak of, is that going to be open to everybody in the county, or just elected officials and the committees, or are they trying to reach out to residents on that?
No, so the webinar will be, instead of them doing tabling events where they go out into the public to meet with people, their webinar will be based for residents that want to learn more about the campaign and figure out how to sign up and what it means and how it works and the billing. It's a very informational type of webinar. They said it's not, and they said it's not super long, and they have a team on their side that do all of that. And they found it to be quite successful.
Great. Sounds good.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's move on to the Climate Carnival then.
Okay, Tistria, you want me to give an update, or do you want to?
You go, Jolene.
I go. Okay, so we have been chugging along with the carnival. The website was launched, and we've done some updates to it. A huge thanks to Don Meltz from the Planning Department and Deb Castellano, who joined our team to do the public relations and advertising portion of this. We have an MOU that went before the county government, finance, and is just waiting for full board approval to name CLC as our fiscal sponsor, so that any donations and contributions can go through their organization to help fund various projects advertising for the carnival. I believe, in Tistry, am I correct? We have roughly $3,500 in donations.
Yeah, and actually, I'd like to thank specifically Partners for Climate Action bumped their $1,000 up to $2,000 for music and entertainment, because we're going to need that. So once the MOU goes through, we'll make sure to connect the CLC and them, and then CLC has offered $500 for marketing, and then we have an anonymous donor of $1,000 for marketing as well. But we are, now that we have the MOU coming through, totally open to other groups or organizations that might want to donate towards marketing or other costs.
And we're going to be reaching out to libraries, sending flyers to all the towns, the climate smart communities out there. And we're going to start ramping up. We're looking at some social media options just to get the word out, lawn signs. And we're just going to keep plugging. If you know of anybody, we had a few additions yesterday that are, vendors that are coming to display their goods. Actually, some really cool environmental friendly products for the homes and gardens. So if you know anybody, just direct them my way, and we'll have a better update next meeting, because we're going to start really nailing down all our ideas, concepts, and who's going to be there.
Jolene, can I add on to that?
Sure.
So I definitely need help with the free store. Wendy, thank you so much, sent out a call for help that I drafted. I sent it to all town supervisors, and then Wendy sent it to all task force members. And so basically collecting things and holding them until the event. And it could be through your town hall. Here we do it through, the town hall. It could be through your farmers market, through your climate smart organization, through a local business or thrift store. Like it could be anyone that wants to oversee. Hopefully the towns can at least help put the word out, since this is a county event. Hey, we're collecting donations. Here's what we're collecting. Please drop them off at this location. If you absolutely can't store them, be in touch with me. If you can collect them but not store them, then I can put put them in my barn. But ideally your town somehow would collect and store and bring to the fairgrounds 2 days before the event. So if you have any questions at all, please reach out. It may seem like a big task. It's really not. It's just getting the word out to your residents that you're collecting these things and having a central location to drop them and potentially store them. So hopefully people can help out with that. And if you can let me know one way or the other, so I know how many towns are helping collect, that would be great. Thank you.
Tistria, do you know, is Bruce, I don't know, is Bruce on? No, okay, so I know that last month he was still seeking volunteers for fixing. How is that coming, do you know?
He wasn't on our last call, but I can say historically with repair cafes, there's always more help needed. So I don't have an exact update, but I would definitely say we want to keep reaching out to potential fixers, potential hardware stores or other organizations that might donate the parts that are needed to fix some of the hardware or lamps or otherwise. But I don't have an exact update, but I would guess that they still need help.
Okay. Is there anyone on this call today that is going to be involved in the one that Chatham is doing with some other towns? No? Okay.
I know New Lebanon's involved in that because we do it at our farmers market a lot, and then it's kind of the Northeast group that's doing it, but I'm not directly involved.
Okay, no, that's fine. It's just I've been seeing a lot of social media on that, but as a task force, I haven't actually seen anything on that. And I would love to be able to promote that in some way. And so I can't if I don't have the ability to do so.
I'll connect you, Wendy, with Adelia, who is one of the leaders of that group, and let her know that she can send you all the information to help promote it.
Okay, and what town is she with? Do you know?
She's New Lebanon, so correct me if I'm wrong, but they created this Northeast group that kind of started in New Lebanon and has expanded, and there's members from Canaan and Chatham, and they kind of are doing pop-ups throughout the county, but it's the same central group. So if she's not the right person for the Chatham event, she will know who is.
Okay, perfect.
And actually, Kara is involved with it too. So when she comes on the call, I think she can give you more information.
Yeah, I did reach out to Kara about maybe a flyer or something. She said that there was a typo or something and that she would hand it to me. It's just, as a county task force through the Columbia, through the climate smart committees, there seems to be a little bit of a communication, like no communication between what towns are doing and what the county is doing. And, we're trying to build a platform to be helpful and to promote things. And towns are doing such awesome things that not everyone is aware of. And if there's a platform that we can promote that and encourage residents to take part in that, I would love to be a part of that. And I feel like there's some sort of communication missing between the town climate smart committees and this particular task force that I'm hoping that we can kind of brainstorm and figure out how we can become a little more inclusive with one another so that we can help promote each other's things.
I wonder too, Wendy, and you might have already done this, and I'm happy to repeat it, but so the Northeast Repair Cafe thing is a little different because they're kind of their own organization. They're kind of related to town task force, but I wonder if an email from you specifically just to the chairs of the town task forces to say, now that the county task force is really getting legs under us, we're up and moving, we would love to help, support the town efforts in these ways, promotion, this, that, the other, please let me know your calendar of events. Please let me know if there's any way we can help. Maybe that would be a good, I know you introduced yourself kind of to everyone when you first came in, but maybe now since you're, going in the position just specifically to the chairs of each of those town task forces to say, hi, would love to collaborate more, would love to support your town efforts. Please make sure we know about your events. We can help promote, we can do these things.
Sure, that's a great idea.
Okay, awesome. And I will connect you with Adelia on
Okay.
the Repair Cafe piece.
Perfect, thank you. Is there anything that we can do in regards to the climate carnival that you need help with? I know that you have your little subcommittee group, but is there anything that you need, you know, larger assistance with, or I don't know.
I mean, Jolene can speak more, but I think we're pretty good. Again, like the free store, which you sent out that email for me, that's definitely an area. The Repair Cafe, with which Bruce did previously send out an email for support. And again, any groups or organizations that any of you might know that might want to be involved as some sort of fiscal sponsor through the CLC once we have that set up, which will be next Wednesday. Jolene, am I missing anything of things that were lacking still?
I think we're pretty good. We're going to eventually send out a email to everyone in the next week or two, just asking for volunteers. And Tistry, I just need a waiver. You had a volunteer waiver for me? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You know, we're just going to be looking for volunteers that day. We have traffic control, you know, just cleanup. The solid waste department is going to be taking part in it also, my staff. So, you know, if anybody just wants to come out that day and help out, or the day before or the day after, you know, that's kind of just volunteers at this point.
Okay, so July 15th, 16th, and 17th.
That's it.
Okay, put that on your radar. Okay, great. So before I update on actions, since we were just talking about solid waste, I just wanted to remind everyone that we're having a household hazardous waste day on this Saturday, May 7th, from 8 a.m. to 12 noon. It'll be at the Highway County Garage on Route 23B. And this year we are accepting latex paint, which is new. We're working with Paint Care. So from 8 a.m. to 12 noon, don't forget to bring us your hazardous waste. Okay. And now I want to update you on our actions, which I'm really excited about. So I have to present something. So hang on. Okay, so this is my working Google Sheet can everyone see that? Okay, on actions that we're working on, actions that are completed, actions that are in process. And I just want you to see down below right here, I have accumulated at this point, along with everyone that's been working on this, not just me, 143 points, which is above the 120 that we need. And those are points minus any of the climate carnival events that I was hoping to take points from. So we are going through all of everything that I've inputted to make sure that it's all legit, that we're doing everything that we need to be doing, that all of the narratives are correct, that all of the information is correct. The deadline to submit is July 8th. I've talked with Tara and she said to, wait until that week to submit it, because once it's submitted, I can't do any changes to it. But I just wanted to update you on a few things that we've been doing, that I've added to this that wasn't kind of on the radar that the county has been doing. Specifically, you'll see here the dams and culverts, which is going to be somewhere between 14 and 20 points. And that was because we did some right sizing of bridges in both 2015 and 2019. The engineering department did do some work, one in the town of Stockport, one in the town of Hillsdale. We also had to do I believe we did a dam removal. This is the one that I'm questioning, so 6 points might be removed from this. And we did conduct an assessment of all road stream crossings that fall under the responsibility of the local government. So this was a huge find that we were able to put some information on. which put us over that 120 mark. So the engineering department has been working diligently with us, trying to get some, because they've been doing a lot of this work that's on our task list. So they've been searching through their records and coming up with some stuff. I know that we might be able to get some points also for the infrastructure for the biking and walking. With the Albany Hudson Electric Trail, we just have to kind of navigate which parts the county did, which parts were not county, and see if that will fall under the scope of work. So we are doing really great work. And this is minus, again, the Climate Carnival event. So I'm super excited. Our solid waste management plan, we should be able to put 2 more points on before July. I think that the questions will be answered, and that will be able to go to the state. So it looks like we're in good shape to be able to submit this for July. And that's really exciting because, you know, it was to get us to bronze. So I'm super excited about that. Does anyone have any questions?
Congratulations, Wendy. Thank you.
Well, it's a group effort. There's so many departments in the county have been working really hard trying to, you know, look through the actions and find work that the county has been doing, because the county does do, we do so much that is on the scope of this that we just, you know, don't realize it's in the scope of this. And so it's really exciting to be able to show that, yeah, you know, the county has been doing all this great stuff. We didn't know that it was climate smart initiatives, perhaps, but you know, it's really exciting. So I'm really psyched that we were able to do this, and it's, you know, I'm excited that we'll be able to get bronze.
That's why we need the coordinators.
Excellent work, everyone.
And Patrice?
I just have a not as good update. The training session that was originally scheduled for the 23rd, there were some staffing changes in Greene County, so we had to postpone that. We'll be working on identifying a location in Columbia County to host that training, but it may not be before the July 9th deadline. But the upside is that it will be in Columbia County, so hopefully we would attract more people. And I have spoken to Tara about it. And as soon as I identify a site, then we will reschedule it and conduct it then. But the Greene County session with NYSERDA in Cairo on June 23rd is officially canceled, postponed to be rescheduled in Columbia County. So.
Ron?
Yeah, Patrice, can we use our new fire training center for that type of facility?
I talked to George, or I reached out to George, and we just have to coordinate a date, and I have to go out there and take a peek at it. So I think that's where we'll likely host it. I just have to coordinate dates with my staff, NYSERDA, and George. So
okay. And they do keep it pretty busy, but it's a very nice facility for something like that. So.
Okay. Since Patrice didn't mention this, I do want to actually point out one more thing. On the Buy Local, Buy Green campaign, I just wanted to let you all know that Columbia County actually in 1993 started the program of Shop Columbia County First, which I think is kind of cool because now, you know, everyone is shop local. And I just wanted to share that that little bit of information that she sent me this morning. Thanks, Patrice.
I just wanted to mention too that I know you guys, this is so exciting, Wendy. That's wonderful that you guys are going to be submitting. I'm so proud of you guys. That you can also probably submit for Clean Energy Communities designation as well, which will get you $5,000 because you've done basically what you have to do in that program is 4 actions. You've already done PACE financing. You did the community campaign, which you'll get points for. Still unclear if you'll get the money, but that doesn't impact the points. And then I see you did the benchmarking resolution. you're actually doing the data import. So once those two are done, that's your 3 and your 4. So you can get designated basically probably at the same time as you're getting Climate Smart certified, hopefully.
Perfect. And I did forget to mention the benchmarking, so thank you for that. That I am still working on that. It's progressing. It's tedious, but it definitely will be done before the July deadline for our other actions. So that's great news, Tara. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to stop presenting that then. Anyone else have any questions?
I don't have a question. I just want to thank you, Wendy, for all your hard work, and everyone, not just on this committee, but everyone in the county that's been, doing these things before we knew that they were things for this program. And Tara, for your help in guiding the county through it all and being there as a resource. So very exciting stuff. And thank you, everyone.
And I'd like to follow up with that too and say that, we are talking about having a department head meeting soon. And one of the things we'd like to do is to have Wendy and present to that a little bit to try and inform all the department heads how they can take part in, many of these projects. And as Wendy has put out there, we find that we are doing it. We know that, but I think some of these department heads, whether it be the health department or DSS or highway, they don't know necessarily that they're working towards these things, but with little information, we can get them better educated. So we're working on that in the future.
Great. Matthew, you have a question?
Yeah, well, a question, and again, I want to second everyone saying thank you, Wendy. It's a really big deal. So thank you. I'm curious to know just about the culverts and dams, because we're in Germantown. We're working currently with our highway department with Cornell Cooperative Extension. It's a year-long project, so maybe it doesn't apply to the county-wide, but they're going to survey all our culverts and our one dam, and they're going to make basically a whole book, and they have to work in close conjunction with the highway department because some of them may need updating. Are we going to do anything like that, or is that only available to towns? I'm not sure. Does anyone know the answer to that?
Wait, repeat. What was the question? You cut out. I didn't hear all of that.
Sorry, Germantown is working with Cornell Cooperative Extension to update our culverts.
Okay.
To give we're going to make a catalog. It's a year-long process. They go through each culvert. I didn't know if that was available to the county. I don't know if it's Tara, do you know that? You don't know. Is that?
Yeah, it should be. And I think, Wendy, did you say that you have some culvert and dam project, or they may or may not be, depending on if you have culverts and dams that you own at the county level or manage at the county level, which I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So available to both towns and counties.
Okay. Wendy, I can send you the information if you're curious about it. But,
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know if you're aware of it, but yeah, it's a great program. They're basically going to do the work of assessing, and they work closely with the highway department and just to see if some of them need resizing. It's basically for migration, fish and wildlife. Sure. Yeah. I'll send you the information about it.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yeah.
Ron.
And we did that in Stuyvesant a number of years ago, and I thought that the county's already done that, but it was a while ago. We might get Ray up to speed when Dean Knox was with us. That was one of the ways that we did some long-range planning for some of our culverts and bridges and things like that, and I thought that included some Cornell information, but I'm not positive. It's the same program, but I know the program that Matthew speaks about. Like I said, we did that in Stuyvesant a couple of years ago. So
I know that I have a 2009 report, and the engineering team said that there was an update. I have not seen that update. So I do think that the county has done something along
this sounds about right. I remember it was a while ago, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question then for Ron and Matthew on a town level. How did you get your highway superintendent to participate? Because we really want to do here in New Lebanon. But if you don't have a highway superintendent that wants to participate, you as a town board can't really force it on them. So did you just have highway superintendents that were like, yeah, that sounds great?
Yeah, well, that's, we have our tasks. I'm the chair of the Climate Smart, and Christina one sec, is the task force coordinator, and she's, you know, born and raised in Germantown, so she's cultivated these relationships with people. Anthony, you know, with a little prodding, like we told him, like, look, you know, this is going to benefit you in the town because some of the culverts, you know, just in terms of the rainwater during the hurricanes, they got knocked out. So, you know, it helps them, and it helps us. And so, and they have, more importantly, they have the institutional knowledge. So, I don't know, you have to pitch it in a way that, like, look, this is going to, you know, because what the problem is that, you know, these culverts might get damaged during a rainstorm, and then FEMA will potentially pay for it during a hurricane, but they just replace what already existed. They don't update it, you know, so the problem doesn't get solved. So yeah, you just have to cultivate whoever your highway supervisor is. I don't know if every town must have one, right? So, you just have to get them involved and say, look, this is something we want to do. And you have to pitch them that it's going to help us financially. Because the program is geared towards the migration of the fish, you know, because we have a lot of culverts that feed into the Rojan, and so some of them are blocked. We have a big beaver issue. Beavers are blocking the culverts. So
You too.
yeah. So, and we all love beavers, but we got to make sure they go to the right place. So the highway guys know all this. They have to check some of these culverts twice a week. So anything that, you know, so Cornell is going to give us a nice big binder. They're going to go to every culvert, assess every culvert, give what type it is, weather recommendations. And the highway guys are going to say, well, you don't have to bother with that one because that one goes dry. So yeah, you just have to cultivate those relationships and get them on board. So that's basically it. Yeah, we got lucky because our highway guys is pretty great.
Boy.
That's great, Matthew. Thank you.
Sure, I'm glad. I'll send you the information. It might give you more to do, you know, but it's really, we're really excited about it because it's a good relationship. It brings the town together on this issue, and it's something that needs to be done. I mean, it just needs to be done. Some of these culverts are so old and so small that it's just, it's going to be, you know, 20, 30 years down the line, you don't have to replace them anymore. Like the way they're designing them now, it's going to be, they had very technical terms, so I didn't quite grasp it all, but especially the ones down by the river. So yeah, I'll send you information if anyone is interested. Any town that's interested, yeah, please get in touch with me. I'm happy to talk your ear off about it because I'm kind of excited about it. So
Thanks.
yeah.
Okay, so can we talk a little bit about our rooftop solar project now then? Ron, do you want to give it
Sure.
all?
Be glad to. So some time ago, you know, we started with our highway garage, which is right below the solid waste facility down there on State Route 23. Is a fairly large, 18,000 square foot building. We've had troubles with the roof on there for a number of years, and it became a pretty expensive project. So in looking at replacing the roof on there, what we started to look at is if we replace the roof, we could then design it for solar. First off, this building is pretty wide open to the southern exposure. It seemed like a good place to do that, and it seemed like, well, if we were going to spend the money for a roof upgrade, we could do some things to the roof to make it a good place for solar. So we worked with a company, Centrica, who's done some other energy projects for the county, and they've designed a combination roof replacement, added insulation to the roof, as well as then constructed a solar array that could go there. The solar array would be a net metering process. In other words, it'll generate all the electricity we can use in the highway garage, plus generate substantial other energy to cover other places like the solid waste facility, where Jolene's looking at using some other energy for digesters in the future. But we look to generate probably an additional $20,000 a year in revenue from this solar. And again, these things they're done so that we can guarantee that that is the number. So it could even be higher than that. There's some substantial rebates that we can get through this program from NYSERDA to help fund it along the way. It's still a hefty investment, but as you heard Tara say a while ago, you know, we could be in for a $5,000 here or there. I mean, those things help pay for some of these projects as we go forward. But the county did commit to this job. Depending on availability of roofing materials is the bigger thing as to when we can get this done. I'm hoping we can get started later this year. But this is kind of an exciting project. Should generate some good electricity for the county. So there's some details on the solar array and a quick picture of our rooftop solar. And not all rooftop solars are large enough, but this one would be. So it's kind of like a small solar field, but it's on a rooftop. So seemed like a good use of our building and a great project for the county. So we've been chugging away at this for quite a while, but we did get it all through at the Board of Supervisors, and we're moving ahead with it. So, any questions on that project? John Brayley. Yes, John, you have a question?
You're on mute.
Where's John? There you still on mute.
I'm sorry. Did you calculate a payback on this?
Yes, probably on just the solar portion of it, not including the roofing. That's about 17 years.
Uh-huh. Is that considered typical or better or worse or?
Well, fairly typical. And again, we were very conservative in our escalation costs of energy. And as you know, we're seeing some huge increases in cost of, kilowatt hours. So it could be substantially quicker than that, but that's part of it. But yeah, basically, when the first time I looked at rooftop solar 10 years ago here for the town of Stuyvesant, it was like a 33-year payback. So at that time, I entered into a lease to own type thing, with the company that was doing that at the time. I can't remember their name, but they went out of business. But this project will be something that the county will own. So, as we own it, we are eligible to collect all the revenue from it in the future. So it's an investment, but we're using some of the ARPA funding to help pay for that, so that, the cost isn't, but the residents will receive a benefit from it.
So I'm asking in part because we have in Claverick a good-sized garage that appears to lend itself for that, and we're trying to collect information and persuade our highway supervisor to be interested in it.
I met with Kippy a while back, and we included our county engineer, who was new at the time, on the idea of, because we had looked at trying to put solar on the Claverick landfill out there. And at one point in time, they had talked to that same company, the EPA, that did that study back then about using the land around your highway garage. But I don't think they were just solely using the highway garage. They were trying to use some of the land. That project hasn't really gone anywhere, but we did consider doing an RFP at the county for the landfill. And I think we advised Skippy to have the town do their own RFP if they wanted to do solar on those fields around the highway.
Thanks. Well, I'm trying to get to the root of some of this past stuff, but sometimes history isn't that easy to find.
I get you. Yep.
Thanks, Ron.
Are you aware that there was an EPA study done of that for your area?
Lou did tell me. I bumped him in the parking lot the other day, and he said that a study was done a number of years ago, and he'd try to find it.
Okay.
But it's good to have some third-party verification.
I can probably find that and provide it to you. I mean, it was a document that we did,
Your record keeping may be better than Lou's.
Yeah, they had, because we did the county landfills all over the place. And at that time, they were trying to look at it as a conjoined thing, but because there's two different owners of that, you got the town of Claverick and the county, that we didn't want to try and do a joint project. So.
Great. Thanks so much.
I'll try to find that to you and get it to you.
Thanks very much.
Bill, did you have your hand raised?
I did. I just wanted to tell John, in the village of Kinderhook, in the village, we just installed solar panels on the DPW garage and the firehouse. And the metrics that I got back from the installer was 12.91 years, or 13.91. Yeah, that was it. As far as the payback.
I'll try to follow up with you with one of our volunteers who's going to work on this.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Yep.
Okay, thanks, Ron, for that update.
No problem.
Okay, so now the fun part. As if this wasn't fun enough already. I would like to discuss some new initiatives. I know that the solar campaign just launched, and I know that Cara's not on yet. And I know that she'll have some things for us to do in regards to that, I'm sure, as far as tabling and events that she wants, that Neighborhood Sun will want to do for our residents. I know Nexamp is a little bit, they're two completely different companies. So Nexamp, I think, is going to probably do more webinar, online based things where we'll just need to get the word out on links and that kind of thing. But so with the solar campaign kind of in full motion now, this task force is an advisory group where we're supposed to be bringing recommendations to the Board of Supervisors for ideas and initiatives of how we can continue moving forward in the climate smart community. And I was just wondering if anyone's been thinking about initiatives to move forward with, or has anyone been brainstorming? Has there been talk outside of the task force meetings where, this is your chance to kind of come up with some ideas and initiatives and see where we want to go next. So this is kind of your opportunity to, unmute and have a little conversation about what we want to see happening next. Ron?
Yeah. I don't know if this was on your agenda, and I know you and I spoke about it a little bit, but one of the things that I would appreciate from the committee, as those folks that are more engaged in the community, the county is looking at, the potential of EV vehicles and, what we need infrastructure to do that. We've got a couple of quotes, but I think we're probably going to do an RFP at some point in the near future. We do need to decide where we want to put EV charging units. And of course, the county's main interest is being able to support some of our fleet vehicles where we have vehicles at either DSS or 325 Columbia Street, where we had the majority of these, but we have our fleet vehicles spread out all over the county. So trying to find a location where we could have fleet vehicles. But the NYSERDA program right now pays about 50% of the infrastructure cost if the county has a charging station, and they can pay 90% if it's open to the public type situation, like some of you have at your town hall or at a business center. And Tara's on, if she's got any better information on this, I stand to be corrected, but where we might charge at night and yet be open to the public in the daytime, that might be a good combination to get us a higher rebate from NYSERDA. Or maybe it's better that the county just does their own and then we can provide them. But we talked a long time ago on this, and we were going to explore where the county could use some better public accessible EV charging stations. And I think that's something that the committee could explore and bring back to us and say, here's a spot that needs more. We do have solid plans. I say pretty solid plans at this point in time to add some EV charging stations to the airport area, to the Columbia County Airport, on some county-owned property. But again, where can the county have some? And our important buildings are mostly in the city of Hudson, and I know the city of Hudson's got some charging stations there. And of course, there's infrastructure problems in order to be able to have enough electricity to operate these. It's not just being able to wire them to a building. If you start having a couple EV charging outlets we need enough power to, to fund about 3 houses with it too. So it's not just hooking it up to a panel box, so we are looking at some ideas. And I think once we get a plan of saying, here's where we want them, we will then do an RFP to actually bring a company on to follow our procurement rules. So if the committee's got any input on where they could be in the future, we'd be happy to hear from you about that. Mark has his hand up.
Hey guys, yeah, just on EV chargers. So my classmate Alejandra at Cornell is finishing her professional report this month for this committee, and she has done some analysis on EV charging options using GIS software. So let's keep an eye out for her final report, which should be out soon. And then the other thing I wanted to say, well, 2 thoughts I had separate from her analysis. One is the bike trail, the Albany Hudson Electric Bike Trail could be a good location for EV chargers in New Lebanon. We put our EV charger next to the Corkscrew Rail Trail, and we actually are getting people coming in and charging there. So that's a good stop. And these are for level 2 chargers, which, only at about 30 miles per hour. But the other thought I wanted to add is I actually drove my EV across the country in April and back, and had to charge my car at about 30 different charging stations along the way. And these are the fast chargers, what are called level 3, which will charge my EV, which is a Hyundai Kona, in about half hour, but it'll charge some of the newer models in about 15 minutes. The level 3 chargers, which are much more expensive and draw a lot more electricity, but they are also a huge draw for tourism and anybody doing a road trip. And so if we do, like right now, I don't believe our county has any level 3s. But if we do install level 3s, those could be a pretty big source of tourism and economic driver.
Yeah, I just want to echo what Mark's saying about the level 3s. I similarly just drove my my hybrid plug-in down to Florida, and level 3s were really critical because you don't really want to spend too much time charging when you're on a road trip that's, many, many hours. But the Taconic would be a good place, I think. Actually, the town of Taconic is considering installing a level 3 charging station. They're looking at when the ZEV rebate opens up, which is only for municipalities, to potentially put one right off the highway there. It is expensive. I mean, they're 30,000 versus like maybe 12 or 13,000 for a level 2. But with the ZEV, they do pay for a good portion of that. There is a cost share for municipalities, but I do think they're valuable. So yeah, and as far as funding goes, Ron's right. There is funding. There's the utility make ready programs that are available, as well as the ZEV rebate, which we're hoping is going to open again. That I think some of the municipalities on this call have had experiences with. So that's what's available right now. And we're hearing that maybe that funding may not be around forever. So I think there's going to be a point where we've got a threshold of, funding and infrastructure where the state is going to stop maybe funding some of these programs. So that's exciting to hear that you're thinking about this. And I'm looking forward to Alejandra's report too, because that's pretty cool.
She just texted me it's going to be ready next week. So should be done soon.
We could potentially, it's not too familiar with the level 3 myself, but we could explore that at the airport. That's an outside agency that's offering to put them there because they want to do a charging port for a helicopter there. They've got some a flight that goes from Maine to Florida by I call EV helicopter. I can't remember the exact name of it, but we had some presentations on that, and maybe the committee would like to see that whole presentation again. But that was kind of an exciting project. So they needed huge amounts of power for that to be able to charge that. And at the same time, they might be able to provide us, a location for that. And that's right off of 9H, which I would think would be somewhat available to the public.
Copeg is actually exploring a level 3 too. Hoping to get a NYSERDA grant for it. Edgar Masters is kind of chairing this thing, and it would be put behind the Green county bank in Copic. But yes, the price tag is a little daunting, but we're hoping to get a lot of grant money for it.
Okay. So my question is if all these towns are looking into installing these level 2 or level 3s, need to be able to capture that in some sort of form so that we can look at that and say, all right, town of Copic is having it, maybe Taconic is putting one in. Where are we missing? What's going on? Where is there a good place to put this? Keeping tourism especially in mind, because that is a huge, we do a lot of tourism. So keeping that in mind, where would we want to see this? And if we could do a level 3 at 1 or 2 of these tourism spots, where would they be? That's information that we need from the task force. The county can, figure out where to put charging stations for their county fleet. But when we start to expand out into the county with all the other municipalities, I don't know, where all of these are. I know the town of Austerlitz has one. I'm assuming it's probably a level 2. I don't know though. And I know it's just one. It's in our town.
Yeah, sorry, Wendy, they're all level 2s. There's no level,
Okay.
As an EV driver, I know for sure there's no level 3s in our county yet.
Okay, so it would be nice to have that information handy for us as a task force to be able to look at and share with one another and go to our towns and say, hey, let's, we need to be able to have a roadmap for this where we can then plan ahead so this initiative is successful, right? So, but I don't know. I opened up new initiatives and I don't know if anyone else has any others that they want to discuss as well. Tistria?
Yeah, so my passion is obviously in the reduce, reuse, recycle realm. My vision is to have a county-wide free store / bike recycling program of some sort. I don't know that it is a county-run thing, but maybe the county helps collaborate between the towns. For example, if we could have maybe 4 or 5 free stores throughout the county in locations that got each quadrant of the county. So New Lebanon has one that could be, New Lebanon and maybe we could start one in Chatham. And again, I don't see this, I see it twofold. I see it as a county / town collaborative working together, because I don't think the county is going to have the boots on the ground to be successful with it. But maybe the county's role is to help get them started and running. And once it's up and running, like the free store here, yes, we have one volunteer that is amazing that probably comes once or twice a week for a few hours. But it's not a huge, heavy lift. So I would like to start talking about how we might work as a county task force to collaborate with towns. And I do think the Climate Carnival will be a good kind of dry run for that, because I am asking for all the towns to pitch in to help gather the donations and bring the donations. And so if like nobody jumps in, then maybe there's not as much of a desire as I think. And maybe, again, it doesn't even have to be the towns. It could be organizations. It could be the CLC. It could be Partners for Climate Action, right? Like if the CLC is based in Hudson, maybe they have it in their office because there's a spare room on the side. Like it doesn't necessarily have to happen at a town hall. Or for example, we're doing a lot on the county right now, looking at county buildings. So maybe with, our end result, maybe we will have a vacancy. It doesn't have to be a huge space. The nice thing about it being in a town or county building is you don't have to staff it. So like here at New Lebanon, it's at the town hall, everything's free. So the town hall is open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Anyone can come in, it's upstairs. They go take what they want, they leave. There's no like manpower needed other than the volunteers coming when they can and sorting the donations. So again, it's in a embryonic state right now, but I want to see if we could potentially brainstorm, and if there's others on this group that have a similar passion of the reduce, reuse, recycle world, I would love to collaborate and, you know, maybe get through the county carnival, because a lot of my energy is going that way. And again, it's a good dry run. And it could go hand in hand with the bike recycling program where they pick up bikes at the same location. It could be separate. I know one of the things Steve are doing at the Climate Carnival is really having information for other towns and other task forces on how they too could have a bike recycling program. So it's something that we as a task force can check back in on after the Climate Carnival to see how that goes. But that is where my passion is, and I would love to help make something more countywide happen.
Yeah, and we've definitely hit the stage with the bike program where we kind of need a local entrepot for all the bikes coming in and out, and where we can show people bikes. Right now, we're running it out of our garages as a shoestring operation, so that'd be very timely for us.
Okay, there's lots of hands, so,
I think Ron Knott was first.
okay.
So I wanted to ask just for you, I know I was going to say this when you were talking about this at the Climate Carnival. Did we get any cooperation or communication with the Habitat Restore on that idea? I mean, that's what they do on a more professional level. Is there any interest in them of helping? They must turn down a ton of stuff that could be just given away. They do it because they didn't know if you'd had conversations with them on this.
I haven't, but that might be a great resource, right? Because they even have a store, so maybe they have a side room that could be the free room, and we could, you know, organize it and add in other things. There is a local thrift store here in town, Berkshire Thrift, and she gives away a lot of free stuff, and so she wants to collaborate with me on how to potentially have the free store expanded. So I think there's some collaboration there, with the difference of things like Goodwill, Salvation Army, Habitat, right? They're selling the items. So the items are for free. So there could even be a competition there that they might not fully support. But like you said, maybe they get things that they're like, this isn't good enough for us to sell, but it's good enough to put on, a free shelf. So I think that's a great collaboration potential.
And the other outfit is, I can't remember the name of it now. Maybe somebody remembers it, but there's a clothing shop on Warren Street in Hudson that does a tremendous amount of reselling of used clothing. And again, they must have tons of stuff that, they just want to get rid of. I don't know how you could communicate with them. I can get you the name of them. I'd done some work for them years ago, so I knew them, but can't remember their name.
That'd be great. There was a used clothing store too on Main Street in Chatham where she gets more than she can use and gives the excess to the free store. So,
Hey, Ron, I believe that's second show.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think of. Yeah.
It's at 519 Warren Street.
Yeah. They have quite a bit of product there.
Awesome. Thanks. Yeah. And the other thing the free store has been able to do that I think, especially if we get it going countywide, is battered women's shelters, right? They can come anytime they need and get clothing. Some of those like Dress for Success events where we're teaching people how to write resumes and how to apply for jobs and they need a nice business suit. They'll come and take a selection of our business suits from the free store. So I think there's a lot of different collaborations with groups and organizations as well on where the clothing could be a benefit to the community.
Matthew?
Yeah, no, I second both the EV campaign but Tristan, the free store. I'll pitch it to our Germantown task force next meeting, because I know there are a lot of folks here who would love that idea. I love the vision of having 4 to 5 countywide places. We just had an Earth Day event where we had a bike repair. So I think there are people be into having helping with that as well. So I'm totally down for doing that after the Climate Carnival.
That would be amazing, because Germantown's like the opposite side of the county from New Lebanon. So at least we'd have the two ends, and I'm happy to help, get it going. Once it's going, it's kind of self-sustaining, but I've been doing it to figure out what works, what doesn't work, and I'm happy to collaborate.
Yeah, I mean, certainly about like location, we have to, figure out like on Cape Cod, they used to be at the transfer stations, these free stores, and don't know if we'd be able to do that here, but we have other spaces as well. So
Yeah, Jolene and I have talked a little bit. I think that down the road it could potentially be, if we can build like a shed where it stays out of the rain, right? And items.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
it was the perfect model because people go there. It's a place where people go naturally. They're going there on a weekly basis. You see your neighbors, and so hey, and have something to get rid of. Just give it to the free store, and so yeah, it's a perfect place for it. Yeah. And Mark, I'm sorry. Where are you operating out of? You said the bike repair, the garages. You said.
Yeah, New Lebanon.
New Lebanon. Okay.
Yeah.
We've got an excess of bikes. If Germantown has some bike repair people that want to fix them up and get them out to your residents.
All right.
They're in Tisria's barn, which is why she's bringing that up.
I'll let them know. Yeah.
Okay.
No, we definitely. I think I'll pitch it to the group. We're a little spread thin at the moment, but they'll be looking for some new projects in the fall. I think so. Yeah.
We're happy to compare notes. We've had a lot of success in. I think it's been 2 years since we started fixing bikes here, and I think we got about 120 bikes donated, and about 70 of those have been placed back with residents around town.
Great. Well, I need a new bike myself, so maybe
We'll put you on the list.
Steve?
Hi there. Another idea, Wendy, might be a heat pump campaign. We started one here in New Lebanon, and Tara, you could jump in and tell me what the threshold is for the county, but it's only five residents need to get heat pumps, and you get a $5,000 grant from NYSERDA. So that might be an idea. It's again, low-hanging fruit. We've had one presentation already, and I think we've already gotten a 5 from that. So
It's 10 for the county, just
$10,000, 10 signups.
10 signups, correct.
10 signups, and how much is the grant?
15,000.
$15,000. I know. So it's that could be a good potential source of some funding right there.
And Tara, can I ask on that heat pump campaign, is that just an added-on heat pump for partial usage, or do you have to completely convert the house away from fossil fuels and be strictly relying on heat pump technology?
Yeah, good question. It can just be partial use. So you could the resident could just install, honestly, a heat pump water heater, and that would count as one of the 10.
I can tell you, as a retired HVAC contractor, we've installed thousands in the county, and they're going on all the time, but most people are using them as a supplement to their heating source, so that's interesting to know. Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a couple of ideas out there. I just want to circle back to the EV thing real quick, because I know that is a conversation that the county is having right now, as far as looking towards EV fleet moving forward when it becomes available. So I'm just curious, we've got 3 ideas out there. Is there any collaboration wise? I mean, is there any one particular initiative that you feel should be at the top of that list? My fear is, having just jumped onto this as coordinator, I've spent a lot of time listening to the solar campaign, and that took a really long time to launch, just because the protocol of the county is a little bit different than what private entity is used to. So there's a lot of protocol that the county needs to take as far as RFPs and all of that kind of thing. And I know that the county is forward thinking in regards to the fact that EV is where we have to head, where we will be headed, and that the fleet and the county part of that aspect is basically under the umbrella of the county, and how they're going to plan it. But we really want to be all inclusive to our community and our residents throughout the county. So I just don't want that to get shuffled down below this list of things that we want to do, because I really do think it's important for there to be a community talk within our task force outside of this to our homes and our communities to see where the need is, and make this a more inclusive task force where we're actually collaborating with one another and with towns to make this a successful. So I go ahead, Terrence.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt, but just makes me think we could use the climate carnival as a chance to poll the attendees. We could have a map of the county and ask, they could put a sticker on a map, but also list their thoughts on where an EV charging station would be helpful.
That's a fantastic idea. Okay. So
I was thinking of joining the repair cafe, but if it's helpful, I could stand at that post for a while too.
okay. Well, yeah, I'm sure we can get volunteers to do that. Are you a bike repairer?
Oh, I was going to do the more general repair.
Okay.
I've repaired my own bike with varying degrees of success.
Okay.
I could promise repeat customers.
Very good. John?
Yeah, I don't know when the right time to mention this is, and maybe somebody else has this on their mind, but the state just released a slew of different announcements on grant funding availability, and the due date, it includes Climate Smart, it includes the EPF, a whole lot of EPF things, and so there's a number of projects that have been discussed in this group that would be eligible, and you can look on the announcement for the Climate Smart ones. They list all the grants that have been announced, the years, and you can look in 21, and you can see all the grants that were announced. And if you look at those, there are things for grants are given, small grants are given for free store things, updating comprehensive plans. And I know I've been studying it for Claverick, and I don't want too much competition, and I'm not even sure we can get into the competition. So things like that this network of a free store is really a powerful idea. And if you look at what Finger Lakes Reuse Center has done and all, finding some seed money to get this started, if you have some people that want to work on it, I mean, that's really super. So for people who are serious about that longer term commitment, it's probably worth looking at those grants, because right now, the due date is July 29. A lot of you probably already looked at this, so with that kind of a due date, it's fairly doable. Anyways, I just wanted to. Some of these ideas are terrific, and you'd hate to see them die, but I also realize that how many volunteers we have to work on them. Everybody's problem, right?
Brenda?
John, could you share a link with us to find that site?
Yeah, actually, Haley just sent one out. But yeah,
I can share it, John. I'll find it and share it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Thanks, Tom.
There's also, in addition to the Climate Smart ones, there's the EPF parks, historic. I mean, there's just a whole slew of different state funding opportunities that information was released, and I'm sure lots of people want it.
So Tara, I'm sorry, Wendy, to take us off track for 1 second. I was approached by Love's Truck Stop yesterday, and I guess they have 642 truck stops in 42 states. And some of the New York ones are interested in EV chargers, but the corporate's not bought into that yet. Are there any subsidies or programs for private business for EV chargers?
Yes. So the Make Ready program that the utilities offer. So depending on if it's NYSEG or National Grid, they both have one, would fund basically the portion of the station to connect to the grid and all of that fun stuff, bollards, Unfortunately, there was a program with NYSERDA that was called Charge Ready. That funding dried up last year, and that was for businesses as well as municipalities, basically any type of entity that wanted to install this. So that was the last of the funding for private businesses, whereas the ZEP is just for municipalities. So I'm not aware of anything else at the moment that funds these types of stations for private businesses, but I'll keep you posted if I hear anything.
Thank you. Sorry, Wendy.
No, you're totally fine. Okay, so I'm gonna circle back because I don't want this to leave and nothing is happening. I want this to be a productive meeting before we, I saw that Cara just jumped on, so I want her to be able to give an update as well. But I want there to be some sort of excitement and communication leaving this committee meeting, this task force meeting, and then going out into the community, into your homes and towns, and drumming up some support for some of these climate smart initiatives. So I know I'm going to push a little bit the EV thing because I can work on the county aspect of it. I'm having a hard time with the public. I can't do both for the public thing. And I know that the heat pump campaign, I'll look into that, Steve. I think you mentioned that, right? Okay, so I'll look into the heat pump campaign and see if I can provide some information for the group next month in regards to that, and where maybe look at that as far as recommendations are concerned. And then we've got the reduce, reuse, recycle thing, which I know Tistria is chomping at the bit to get going. She's really passionate about it. We've actually had conversations about it because I really want to do something for our school districts in regards to some of the students that can't afford their concert clothes and, prom dresses and that kind of thing. I want to be able to do, that's kind of my pet project. So when I talked to Tistria about her reuse and recycle thing, I was, her excitement is a little contagious when it comes to that. So I would love to see something like that happen. And Matthew, if you can get Germantown on board for that and at least get the top and the bottom of the county, that would be awesome.
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, and Wendy, New Lebanon School also does a Cinderella project specifically for prom, and it's jewelry and shoes and bags and dresses. And sometimes we have things in the free store that I will donate over to the Cinderella project. So, it could be all of that, right? It could be, we could be collecting throughout the year for prom dresses and not putting them out in the free store, but setting them aside for when it gets close to prom. And then we could distribute to all the school districts, right? We could have a Cinderella project at every school. So
yes, I would love that. That would be amazing. I mean, like I have a child, and so all of her dresses were given to our school, and kids, went and tried them on and took them. And I just love that idea. I love that, those that may not be able to afford it can have something special. And I love that idea. So,
and also what goes along kind of with the Repair Cafe is that they often have seamstresses that will fit the dresses, right? So you might fall in love with the dress, but because it's a hand-me-down, it's not like it's available in 4 different sizes. And so if a girl comes and finds the dress, they then have volunteers that will take it in and fit it to her. So, there we could collaborate with the Repair Cafe, who has people who do sewing, and link it all together.
That's pretty cool. Okay, thank you. All right, so moving forward though, do I have everyone? I can't see everyone, but I want you all engaged, and not a whole lot of you have talked. So I want you engaged. I want you excited. I want you to do things, go out, do, push some stuff, get some information so that when we come back next month, we have a plan. Terrence, I love that map idea. So we'll get on that and see what we can do for that. And I know Cara, are you here now?
I'm here.
Hey,
hi, everybody.
Do you want to give
welcome.
A little update?
Sure. I should have by end of day tomorrow a breakdown per of the 4 towns that we're piggybacking and their numbers, but all in, we have 76 enrollments, and I don't know what Nexamp has. Obviously, they have to get that information to you. And I would say that, overall, what I've seen, and it's, I have been preaching this for a while, but kind of proof is in the pudding. What I've seen from the results are in Claverack, John Bradley was really championing, if you can, I can't say that word properly. He was a great champion for getting Claverack to get some, to get 10 enrollments plus, so he could submit to NYSERDA, and he enrolled himself, right? And he was able to kind of figure out that it was a little cumbersome, and we were able to turn around some sign up directions and kind of get that out to anybody that's had difficulties. We've actually made some tweaks to the enrollment process as we've gone through. Keep in mind, we recently merged with Neighborhood Sun, so there was kind of some post-merger integration stuff that was going on right before Solarize started. So it's been great to get feedback. But I guess my point being, and then Matthew in Germantown, same thing. He signed up. He was a great champion. He was doing outreach to his network. Same with John. And then in Ghent, we had Bob, I believe his name is Bob Erdman, and worked with the Ghent Dems and got a message out through their platform. The point being is, like, if you can target a specific group of people and with your voice send out information, it resonates with that group because you're a member or you're familiar or what have you. It's going to resonate much more than us doing the outreach, right? And so we've seen a lot of attraction. Same with Phil Bickerton and Kinderhook. He reached out to his network and got his neighbors and friends and the Climate Smart Committee to sign up, or at least consider signing up, right? So at least get that preliminary information out. The key benefits, what are the key benefits? The more people that sign up, we're going to reduce carbon emissions. You can save a little bit of money. It's good for local economies throughout New York. These things don't build themselves, all of those kind of key benefits, right? So, I'm very proud of you guys that have been, working and getting the word out. The other thing I would say is if you have any, events coming up in your communities that maybe there's going to be some tabling going on there, maybe a farmer's market that you think we would be welcome to participate. We're more than happy to, show up a few weeks in a row, if it's a farmer's market, gain some familiarity with the, because you have different passerbys, different attendants. Also in Hudson, if there's anything that anybody knows about that's going on in Hudson, please loop me in, let me know, and we'll get some folks to attend. And so I think the four towns, I don't know if you've heard from NYSERDA, John or Matt.
Yes. I mean, we heard that we achieved it. I'm pretty sure we got the grant because there were 8 left at the moment, but
oh, great.
But we did. Yeah. The biggest thing with the solar campaign, this is just for everyone to understand, because the one snafu that I ran into, and Kara, I'm sure you've clarified this, was that some neighbors had signed up for an ESCO. You get the bill. It looks like a National Grid bill, but it says clean choice in the return. Right. Yeah, and it's an ESCO, and they've already signed up with some potential solar company, nebulous. But they can cancel that and still sign up for community solar. At least,
and They actually, they don't have to cancel. An energy supply company arrangement does
don't.
not compete with community solar. So they can keep Clean Choice or Clear Choice or, you know, one of 100 different energy supply, Green Mountain. You know, there's, you know, if somebody's interested in renewables, there's wind energy, ESCOs, there's ESCOs that will give you a discounted rate for a limited time, you know, below the utility rate. This is just on the supply portion of the bill. Community solar is a line item that will appear at the bottom of your bill. And then in the case of consolidated billing, it shows the discount right on the bottom of the bill, and the net savings is subtracted from what you owe the utility. So you can keep your ESCO. Yeah.
Okay.
Cara, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just wondering, are you having, do you have any contacts in the Hudson area? Or are you?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
I do, yeah. But again, it's, you know, sometimes inside information will, you know, it might appear to you before it gets to me. So, you know, if you hear of anything or know of any events going on, I'm going to approach the Chamber of Commerce and see if they'd like to do, you know, at least have me come and talk to some local businesses. You know, maybe we can get some notification. Any sort of community organization, you know, there's a lot of farmers in Columbia County that spend a lot on electricity, and you know, this is an optional thing. Not everybody's gonna, you know, some people are averse to solar. Not too many, but some are. You know, solar unfortunately has been politicized in a lot of ways, and so again, it's an optional thing. Nobody's forcing it down anybody's throat, but it can save people some money. And you know, with consolidated billing, it's pretty easy peasy.
I just want to say thank you so much, Cara, for all of the work that you've done. You know,
yeah, it was pretty busy there for a couple of weeks.
It was, but
I was burning the midnight oil, you might say.
You were.
Yeah, and then last couple of weeks we had a lot of Earth Day stuff going on. I did in the Mid-Atlantic, but I'm in Columbia County for the next few weeks, and hoping to you know, re-engage with some community organizations. Again, it might be, you know, it's not just Dems. I didn't bring that up as like to make this political. There's Republican groups that can see the key benefits in community solar. It saves people money. You know, it's about energy equity. It's about kind of self-reliance, producing our own opposed to importing, you know, fuel. Or you know, there's the conversation can bridge, you know, whatever political divide easily enough. But then there's also, you know, agricultural groups. There might be, you know, maybe some horse farms that somebody has connections to, or, you know, I've sent some stuff out to Citizens Climate Lobby. Same thing with Repair Cafe. We've got this Chatham Repair Cafe coming up. I sent you right before I jumped on the call, Wendy, some stuff to put on the county website. But again, I'm sharing my piece of the action in this upcoming Repair Cafe is to get it on social media and to kind of get it in some channels. We've got it in some newspapers, but it, you know, feel free to share the information. I'm happy to put some stuff in the chat, or I can send it to the group about the Repair Cafe coming up on the 14th.
Perfect. Thanks, Cara.
Yeah.
So anyone with any insider information on events in Hudson, make sure you let Cara know so that we can get some word of mouth for the Solarize campaign. Thank you. Is there any other questions? comments? It's like crickets. You're all so quiet. Okay. Matthew, do you have anything?
No, not at the moment. Just
Okay.
again, yeah, sorry. No, I'm kind of fidgety with my
You
camera.
popped back in. I thought, oh, maybe. All
Yeah.
right.
Well, I am going to mention the free store and all of that. We have a pretty enthusiastic group here. So any information that you want to share with the public, Wendy, you can send to us. We have we have Instagram, we have all of that. So we're willing to share. I sent out the free store. I'm putting out feelers for Tristia's, storage for the free campaign. So our group is pretty committed to communicating with the county. And our town board wants to hear what the county is doing as well. So I'm reporting to them. So you can rest assured that anything you have to say or anything you have to share, this section of the county is going to get the information. So
Perfect. Thank you.
I'd just like to, Kara, the village of Kinderhook's going to start their farmers market this weekend. I won't be around, but if you want to set up like we did last year, let me know, a couple of dates. I don't think I can do every Saturday anymore.
Yeah, no.
Too many graduations coming up. I have 10 grandchildren and about 3 of them are graduating this year. So I got to be down in the city for a while. So,
fun. Maybe let's talk in June.
Okay, sure. That's fine. Yeah.
Great. Excellent. Thanks.
Okay. So we're going to keep EV on the brain. Yes. Reduce, reuse, recycle. We'll network out on that. I'm going to look into that heat pump campaign and see what that entails. And is there anything else? I hope that you guys felt like this was a productive meeting. Okay, good.
Very, yeah.
Good. Wonderful. So
Well done.
Oh, thanks. So I guess if that's it and no one has any questions or comments. No, but don't forget the Household Hazardous Waste Day is Saturday. Okay. And we're taking latex paint. Okay. All right. Then I guess that's it for today. And I'll see you in a month.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.